Guys, and welcome to the Bristol City vs Sunderland match review. So Bristol City have just got away with a 1-0 win against Sunderland, and it's the same old tale we've seen several times this season where, you know, it's not good enough, but it is very, very frustrating. And, you know, again, it's not an excuse. It's not me saying, oh yeah, we definitely should have won and what have you, which we should have done. But how many times have we said it this season when we've had 19, 20, 21 plus shots to the opposition's 4 or 5, and we utterly dominate the majority of the play. We give an opposition team who look like they were set to defend something to hold on to, and then we lose out on 3 points there. And that's exactly what's happened yet again today. But again, you know, you need to give credit to Bristol City. They come with a game plan and they executed it. And you know, thanks to a handful of brilliant saves from their keeper as well. You know, we've come away with nothing, and they've got everything, which is again credit to them. But getting into the game itself, you know, we had Pato in goal. Across the back line, we did have Hume, we had Ballard and 09 in the middle, with Huggins on the other side. In the middle, we had Dan Neil and Ekwa. And then we had Clark starting down the centre, which was a bit strange. But we had Pritchard behind him, Barr on one side, and Patrick Roberts on the other. Now, getting into the game, the opening sort of 15 minutes or so, I feel like we dominated. They played a really old school 4-4-2. So it was just 4 backs of 4, and it was just a case of can we get through them, and we couldn't. But we were making chances. Literally every time they got the ball, they were giving it straight back to us. You know, every time they couldn't string a pass together, which intercepting, and they looked really, really poor. So I thought, probably stupidly, naively of myself, I thought, we're going to absolutely piss this, we're going to walk this, because these look absolutely fucking terrible, because that is what it looked. But we were making chances, half chances, with Clark getting down to byline a handful of times and pinging it back across goal or pulling it back to no avail, to no one there. Roberts had a great couple of chances on that right-hand side. He was running that show on the right-hand side. Again, you can rack up as many chances and shots as you want. That isn't the important statistic. The important statistic is the goals, and we didn't get any. But Roberts, as I was saying, a few times on that right-hand side, he brilliantly either got down to the byline or he cut him from right to left, wriggling in between 3 or 4 Bristol City players before hitting a shot either straight to the keeper. Or there was one in particular for some fantastic work on that right-hand side and a couple of 1-2s as we see often. It found its way back to Roberts on the right-hand side of the corner of the box, really. And he got his angles all wrong. And he had no Bristol City players near him. He had to at least test the keeper there. And you just know full well that in training, those are the kind of efforts that you see. Just find the top corner or the far corner every time. And he's put it way wide and made an absolute mess of it. But then, you know, we started to find ourselves almost, as I said, they were constantly losing the ball and giving it away cheap play. It was almost, we started to fall into that pattern a little bit. We started, you know, when we play out from the back, as they were trying to consistently, but they were losing it consistently, we started to almost replicate them, and we started doing it a couple of times. We had a couple of near sort of shouts in terms of nearly giving the ball away at the back, or we've just about got away with it with some really short passes or an overhit pass that go to them, but then it bounced back in our favour somehow with a ricochet or a deflection. We just about get away with it, but eventually we do. It's another short pass really from Patterson into Dan Neil. It's heavy touch. It's going back into the area, and Patterson comes out to try and claim the ball on the ground, but he's taken out the Bristol City man. It is a penalty. He's absolutely played for it, but it's 100% a penalty. I'd be very pissed off if it wasn't, if it was obviously the other way around. And then Conway steps up and just slots it into the bottom right-hand corner, sending Pato the wrong way. And that really gives them something to shout about, and it really did up their confidence. And for a side who I say originally, we looked like we were going to walk all over him, they had their tails up for a good 10 minutes. They had some really good football, good passages of play on the counter. I think they actually hit the post at one point. Is it Mehmeti on the left-hand side? You can see all he wants to do all day is cut in from left to right. He did that on 09, and he's tried to put it into the far corner, and it balloons off the post. But then after that sort of 10-minute period did sort of phase down, it was just all us again, and us pressing again to no avail again. And, you know, half-time, 1-0 to them. And again, it just gives them something to hold on to. And we really need to stop doing that. Granted, over the last couple of games, we've managed to see out wins under Mike Dodds, but you know, it's just something that we need to get into, sort the striker situation out. And another day, and how many times I've said this season, another day we would have won that 4-5-0 with the amount of chance we created. Second half, we were miles better, absolutely all over them. They had absolutely nothing in that second half. it was just constantly half chances there. Corners that were coming in, like Pritchard had a corner that ballooned right over to the post. Sorry, onto the crossbar that bounced off the crossbar. Had a free kick that he delivered, beat the keeper, hit the crossbar. We had 2 or 3 corners where I think Luke O'Nien got a couple of them. He won the header, and the keeper's made an outstanding save, O'Leary, twice. One of the headers, probably about 7 yards out, he flung himself out at Luke O'Nien, and it looks like it's destined for the right-hand side of goal, and O'Leary flings himself across goal himself and manages to get it away, and that's happened twice. There's very similar ones in the space of a very short amount of time. Ballard the same, where he flicks a header back and the keeper holds it. Eventually, Job replaces Abdullah Bar, who, again, he had a very, very poor game for me. Every time he got it, he just offers so little for me. He's just so predictable. A couple of step overs and gives the safe pass, and other than that, his final product is poor. I can say that about a lot of the players, but yeah, it really is poor, Abdullah Bar, and it makes you think, what does Rushin have to do to get a game? What does Jewison Burnett, who every time he seems to come on, when he does get these little bits and pieces, 20 minutes, 15 minutes here and there, which is very rare now. Nowadays, I don't know where the hell he's gone. He looks entertaining, he looks dangerous, but now he's disappeared. He must be thinking, what the fuck do we have to do to get into the side if Abdullah Bar's starting? Do you know what I mean? But Job comes on to replace him eventually, and Job has a good chance himself. It's a free header, which obviously doesn't hit the back of the net. We're throwing everything at it. Eventually Al-Shish comes on, Mayenda's on, Dak is on, and it's just scramble after scramble after scramble in the box. There was shouts for penalties that it could have gone. There was one chance, actually, I think it was like the 90th minute, where it is a scramble in the box. Al-Shish managed to get a toe on it to poke it to Ballard, who's probably about 7-8 yards out, and he lets it roll across him, and he sold his man, so his man is sort of put a sliding challenge in, and he does actually hit Ballard's standing leg before he was just about to strike it, and Ballard's gone to ground, and eventually the ball goes off for a corner. But for me, it could have easily been a penalty. There was another one where the ball, we tried to hook it back in while on the right-hand side of the box. It looked like it hit a hand. That should have been another penalty. Just a lot of things just didn't quite go our way. I think on the whole, the referee wasn't actually that bad, but just little moments that needed to be overseen properly or oversaw properly, and it wasn't. But yeah, again, how many times have I said it this season? Statistics, the only one that matters is the goal tally, and we didn't put it in the back of the net, and we had strikers on the bench that eventually we saw Mayenda, but it was too little too late, and I completely understand Dodd's decision to bring on Job as a striker, because he's the only one who seems to be putting the ball in the back of the net when we play him up top. None of the others have so far this season. But yeah, I would think that by the next game we would see a new head coach. I wouldn't mind if it is just held with Dodds for the time being. The lads clearly like Dodds, they have a bond with Dodds, and tactically he's been generally sound. I just think, again, on another day, and we saw it under Mowbray, how many times where we have just collected shots for the fun of it and just haven't put the ball in the back of the net. But another day we would have won that game. Fair play to Bristol City, well done to them. I think that season slipped just outside the playoffs now. Very frustrating, but it is what it is. Yeah, we need to just dust ourselves down and keep going, because fixtures just come so thick and fast in this league. But yeah, there was someone spotted in the crowd regarding the sort of management role with KLD. No one can quite put a pin in it as to who it is just yet. Some people saying it looks a little bit like Will Still. For me, I don't think it did. It looked nothing like Beal, so I could be wrong there. So I'm not too sure whether it did mean anything, whether it was just a friend or an associate, whatever. But yeah, 1-0, very, very frustrating, and I'm almost numb to these performances now. The ones where we do rack up all these shots and get nothing. So I could easily sit here and shout and swear, but it's another one of those performances. Very, very difficult to take, but we've seen it so many times this season that I'm almost immune to it. But what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think we should or shouldn't have done throughout the game? But if you have enjoyed, please hit the like button for me. It really, really does help out. And subscribe if you are a regular viewer of the channel but you're not yet subscribed. But for now, take care and stay jammy.